Part 100. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 993. You are really impatient, then don't blame me for being rude. Xuanhuan was already angry, but now that he was beaten like this, he lost face. The key is that he has never even looked at the dragon servant. The anger in his chest burned directly. At this time, he didn't care whether he was rude to the beauty or not. He became angry when he saw Zhang Zizai and Long Yan. If you can't get it, sometimes destroying it will give you a sense of pleasure. In his eyes, Xuanhuan was dead anyway. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. But what he didn't expect was that before he took action, Zhang Zizai, Lu Dingxing and Long Yan were standing side by side with Xuanhuan. The four of them obviously wanted to fight together, and it was absolutely impossible for him to kill Xuanhuan alone. You'd better think clearly. If you attack my brother, you'll attack the four of us. We are indeed not that good, but we will fight with you to death. You'd better kill us all, otherwise there will always be one left. It could even kill you, Zhang Zizai sneered, his tone very calm, but full of shocking power. Xuanhuan didn't expect that a group of them would dare to disrespect him like this. You are from the god realm, you have never seen the world, you don't know the dignity and inferiority, and you hang out with these three despicable people. If you don't wake up early, you will only destroy your unique talents. Girl, you really need to think twice. Xuanhuan Yuan gritted his teeth and said. He really didn't want to leave a bad impression on Long Yan, but the strong response from Zhang Zizai and the others made him have 10,000 murderous intentions. Can you get out of here? Long Yan also has her own temper. At this point, she doesn't care how strong this person is. To be honest, if the other party still refuses to give up after giving her all the face she deserves, then she is not someone who is afraid of trouble. This knowing blow decisively made Xuanhuan angry. He said solemnly, since you are so ignorant and insult me, then I don't need to be polite to you. You brought people to the Bright Dragon tomb privately, committed a felony, and waited to be punished. I will use the image talisman to everything is recorded clearly. Zhang Zizai knew that he was a human being and he did have a headache now, but he couldn't bow his head no matter how much he had a headache. As for this dragon servant who offended me, he has no idea of dignity and he must pay the price now. Others, get out of here, otherwise, don't blame me for accidentally hurting you, Xuanhuan snorted coldly. Beast, you have no guts. Although Lu Dingxing spoke slowly, his voice was deeper, and every word hit Xuanhuan. You have to die too. Xuanhuan laughed angrily. Then add me. Our brothers have to die in a row to show how powerful and handsome you are, right? Zhang Zizai said with a dumb smile. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? Xuanhuan sentenced Lu Dingxing and Xuanhuan to death, and Zhang Zizai was here. It would be a bit troublesome to kill him, but this was not the reason why he couldn't vent. You can do it, you have to believe in yourself. It's a pity that you don't seem to have this chance, Zhang Zizai said. I don't have a chance? Are you kidding? Xuanhuan laughed dumbly. How long could he continue to laugh? Suddenly, footsteps came from behind. In fact, he was ready to kill. He had already thought about who to kill first. He even planned to kill Zhang Zizai. Kill everyone, and then brainwash Long Yan. But he never expected that there were footsteps behind him. When he turned around, he saw a woman in a white dress walking over. The woman in the white dress was tall, with a majestic and holy appearance. She was very authoritative in any place. Zhang Zizai Xuanhuan saw her faster. He had some impression of this person. She was the one standing with Baimu at the position of the stone monument. At that time, Xuanhuan was not standing with Baimu. Xuanhuan, what are you doing here? The woman saw them and stepped forward. Xuanhuan's face was twisted, and he could only relax and said with a smile, I met a few interesting people, let's get to know each other. The woman looked at Zhang Zizai and the others, nodded and said, by the way, Mu Ting likes some of them, they are all quite interesting. Hua Zhongyuan was a little afraid of her, so he was about to take action, but then Sheng Sheng stopped. Why don't we get to know each other? Brother Hua thinks that we are too low-born to walk in the Guangming Dragon Tomb, and he wants to teach us a lesson. After all, he is Bai Mu's friend, and we can only get beaten Zhang Zixiao with. Oh, the woman looked at Hua Zhongyuan. I'm joking, Zhang Zizai said. It turned out to be a joke. I thought it was true. After all, if Hua Zhongyuan bullies you, it can only mean that he goes back more and more. Of course, he is not Mu's friend. After all, he has given Mu a few beatings from time to time. The woman smiled coldly, but she didn't give Hua Zhongyuan any face. Sister Bai Yu smiled. We are both from Guangming Dragon City, so what kind of contradiction can there be, Hua Zhongyuan said. The woman's name is Bai Yu, Bai Mu's cousin. She is in her 20s and has a higher level than Hua Zhongyuan. Her appearance saved Zhang Zizai and the others from a fight, otherwise, the fight might have been more dangerous. I'm too lazy to listen to you, let's go. Bai Yu glared at him and said. In fact, Zhang Zizai explained that he was joking, but how could she not understand that his was true, so he told Hua Zhongyuan to get lost. With Bai Yu around, it was impossible for him to do anything. Hua Zhongyuan took a deep breath, he suddenly smiled, shook his hand towards Zhang Zizai, and said, in that case, let's say goodbye first, and we will talk in detail next time we meet. By the way, I don't know your name yet. Where's the name? Zhang Zizai. Oh, what a good name. He shook his palm again. Everyone knows that he means that I still have your handle in my hand. Longyan became a god here, which means Zhang Zizai brought mortals in. After that, he turned around and left. The moment he left, his face was obviously very bad. After he left, Bai Yu asked, why would this guy target you? I just heard a lot of noise in this direction. Is he doing it? He moved a little, but after you came, he didn't dare, Zhang Zizai said. Why did he target you? Bai Yu asked. Zhang Zizai shook his head. Bai Yu didn't seem to pay much attention to Longyan. After all, Longyan was already an ancient god, or maybe she didn't know how many people Zhang Zizai was in their group. Hua Zhongyuan is indeed a bit hypocritical. I don't bother to care about him. I can just avoid him next time I see him, Bai Yu said lightly. Thank you for your help, sister. Can I know your name? Zhang Zizai asked. Bai Yu. Bai Mu is my cousin, the woman said, then waved her hand and said, I'm leaving first. You guys should stay in Guangming Dragon Tomb. It's best not to offend the people in Guangming Dragon City. Many of them are unreasonable. Thank you. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 994. This woman named Bai Yu is really good. As expected, there are all kinds of birds in the forest, both good and bad. Of course, it is also because she did not see Longyan's talent, otherwise, there might be some interference, which makes it difficult for Zhang Zizai to deal with. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. After she left, Zhang Zizai and the others moved directly to avoid Hua Zhongyuan catching up again until it was safe. As the four walked, they began to discuss. He has a shadow talisman. When he has a chance, he will definitely use it to threaten us, this shameless guy, Xuanhuan said indignantly. Zhang Zizai thought about it and said, it doesn't matter. He just scared us. Yanner is so good. Even if she is exposed, no one will pursue us, and we have the support of the Dragon God King. This is also the reason why he is not afraid of Hua Zhongyuan, but the other party is a human, so he still has to be on guard. I don't want to be taken away for training. If that's the case, I'd rather go to the evolution realm, Longyan suddenly said. She went to the eternal night star sea like this last time. She didn't want to have that experience again. For her, following Zhang Zizai was the safest place. Don't worry, no one can take you away this time. Zhang Zizai smiled and patted her shoulders. Although he smiled, his tone was full of the power of his words. Boss, I was a little impulsive this time. I didn't control my temper and added trouble to you, Xuanhuan said. Don't think too much. If people can't follow their hearts, what's the point? The meaning of our cultivation is to do what we can do and what we can do. As for the rest, it's nothing more than a fight with him. What's there to be afraid of? Zhang Zizai said. You, follow us and follow your heart. Lu Dingxing smiled. He doesn't talk much, but he actually understands very well. Xuanhuan has not been with them for a long time and needs to continue to run in, but what Zhang Zizai admires in them is his character, so he doesn't need to apologize. Anyway, the trouble this time is over. Next, we will continue on the road to find the fortune of the Light Dragon tomb. Many of the Light Dragon springs we have encountered have actually been absorbed, and the Dragon tomb is still a place that cannot be approached. The world of light seems to have no end, so they have no harvest most of the time. But in fact, the vast divine spirit in the Light Dragon tomb is also a kind of fortune. The four of them are unique and their cultivation speed is amazing, especially Zhang Zizai. He uses the dragon whale swallowing sea art to swallow the divine spirit several times faster than other people. Moreover, his understanding of the realm in the initial god realm is very profound, and his cultivation in the ancient god realm is absolutely by leaps and bounds. After compressing countless divine spirits and gathering them into the destruction god source, his destruction god source is growing every day. As for the soul, he continued to perform the Tegzu universe soul refining technique and entered the huge ground millstone, letting the millstone grind his soul. The pain was simply indescribable, and the process was absolutely trembling. Fortunately, after leaving the ground millstone, he immediately felt refreshed. In order to strengthen his soul, Zhang Zizai still persisted. After all, he had practiced the Tegzu universe soul refining technique for too long. He was originally a soul, and with such training, his current soul strength may be stronger than by Mu. This caused him to have a terrifying comprehension whether he was learning battle tactics or comprehending other things. Some people may think that the soul is useless, but in fact, the stronger the soul, the stronger it will be in all aspects, especially in comprehension, and comprehension is also related to the breakthrough of realm and the control of power. In fact, the power of the soul is invisible, but a strong soul is indeed the guarantee of a real super talent. The power of the source of the god and the body is more intuitive. After the abyss grew steadily and the divine body already possessed the holy dragon thunder body, Zhang Zizai finally encountered something useful to him 2 months later, in addition to encountering 2 useful light dragon springs. In front of him was an extremely hot area. Normal people would take a detour and stay away when they came here, but Zhang Zizai was ecstatic because he felt the breath of the divine calamity, which was a kind of divine fire. When he approached, he found that there was an endless sea of fire in front of him. It was a pale flame burning in the air. When it was burned to the extreme, even the space was distorted and deformed. The ground in front of him looked distorted, as if it was burnt. Very good, it is burning white flames, and the number is more than that of light clouds and thunder. Zhang Zizai smiled. This was simply the best material for him to sprint the holy dragon body to the second level. So he rushed in without saying a word. After entering, he knew what was terrible. According to his guess, as he became stronger and stronger, absorbing the same divine calamity seemed to be getting easier and easier. For example, this burning white flame has more than the light cloud lightning. His divine body is very strong now, and he has experience in withstanding the light cloud lightning. Normally, he should be able to handle it easily. But in fact, he was wrong. The Holy Dragon body is not that easy. If he didn't have the Holy Dragon Thunder body now, it would be easier to forge the Holy Dragon Fire body. The Holy Dragon Thunder body that has been formed now is of no use in withstanding the burning of the burning white flame, and there is also a terrible reaction. The reaction is the mutual repulsion of the two forces. Mutual repulsion causes the divine body shaped by lightning to disintegrate again, allowing thunder and fire to reforge the divine body again in the contest. This process contains destruction, the competition and explosion of the two divine calamities, and Zhang Zizai's body has become their battlefield. So, this time, the sourness almost made him kneel down. After this time, he may not be as excited as seeing the burning white flame when he sees the divine calamity again, because at that time, the confrontation between the three divine calamities will be even more terrifying, not to mention that if he continues to practice, what terrible things will happen. After experiencing a tragic forging, he finally survived, but this feeling of being reborn as a person still makes people want to cry without tears. The only good news is that the Holy Dragon body forged by two forces is already terribly strong, and he has also reached a terrifying level in terms of divine body. Now, the black thunder is wrapped around the black flame, and the burning white flame is burning on his body. At this moment, Zhang Zizai, if his realm is higher, will definitely be a nightmare for many people. However, he has a more ambitious goal. Next, keep moving forward and practice. In the 4th month after entering the Bright Dragon Tomb, his realm broke through again and reached the 3rd level of the Ancient God realm. This breakthrough made his combat power surge again. With the help of his divine body and divine soul, as well as many other means, he gradually had the ability to protect himself in this Bright Dragon Tomb. Of course, the other 3 people were also very powerful. In 4.5 months, Lingxian was indeed faster than Lu Dingxing and Xuanhuan, and his realm was raised to the 2nd level of the Ancient God, catching up with them. After being caught up, Lu Dingxing and the others worked hard and reached the 3rd level of the Ancient God in turn in the 5th month. Everyone chased each other and it was very lively. Just when Xuanhuan broke through, there was suddenly a dragon roar coming from a distant place, and there was one every 10 breaths. Zhang Zizai and the others thought it was accidental, but when the dragon roar continued for an hour, they knew that it might be a call. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 995. In fact, at first I thought it was a normal anomaly in the Bright Dragon Tomb. This is the tomb of the God Kings, and it is normal for some dragon roars to be heard occasionally. But I never expected that this was continuous and very regular, with one roar every few breaths. It was nothing to last for a quarter of an hour, but it lasted for an hour and was still going on. So no matter who it was, I'm afraid they would want to follow the sound to see what was going on over there. It happened that Xuanhuan broke through, and the strength of the crowd was improved again. Zhang Zizai said, such a dragon roar must be a summon. Although it will definitely attract many people, most people are still difficult to deal with. However, it will not hurt us to go and see what is going on. The other 3 of them had no objection at all. The 4 of them set out together and followed the sound in this bright world. They went forward for 2 hours and found that the closer they got, the louder the sound would be, proving that the direction they were going was right. And the sound still exists so far, which shows that this dragon roar is definitely not simple. I just don't know if there will be similar situations in the previous Bright Dragon Tomb trial. I haven't met anyone else on the way, otherwise I can ask a little. However, as Zhang Zizai walked forward with the others, and the dragon roars continued to increase, they could vaguely feel that there were many people like them, approaching that place. It is estimated that in a short time, there will be many people traveling together. Most people will probably arrive earlier than us, after all, we started late. but fortunately, we seem to be closer. Judging from the sound, Zhang Ziyi felt that it might not be too far away. The light in front was shining, and there was a boiling feeling, which made people feel inexplicably agitated. Zhang Ziyi focused on the front, and he felt that there must be something that attracted him. What exactly could this thing be? He fell into curiosity. He could vaguely hear voices from other places, and it was very likely that a large number of ancient gods would gather here. He was still thinking, but at this moment, he suddenly felt the existence of danger, and there was a strong pressure, which suddenly attacked. The opponent's speed and movement were very fast, and almost in an instant, they reached Zhang Ziyi and them. Zhang Ziyi suddenly turned around and saw someone breaking through the world of light, suddenly appearing behind them and attacking them directly without any hesitation. He held a huge weapon in his hand, which shone with light and stabbed directly at Lu Dingxing at the back. Judging from the opponent's attack method, he was attacking with the purpose of killing him, and his heart was worthy of death. Lu Dingxing was suddenly in danger, but fortunately he reacted very quickly. After accepting the inheritance of many ancient demon tombs, he was proficient in various magic skills, and his divine body was also constantly improving. At this moment, his body directly changed into the body of the fighting holy demon, with thick hair covering his skin, and sharp claws poking out directly. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a human-shaped panda, blocking Zhang Ziyi and them like a wall. The moment the opponent's huge weapon pierced through, he could only use his hands to receive it at the critical moment. A black vortex appeared on his palms, covering the weapon and directly delaying the opponent's attack. However, the opponent's ancient god source power was too overbearing and suppressed it. Therefore, although Lu Dingxing delayed the opponent's attack in the first time, he failed to completely block it. The vortex on his palm was directly torn apart, and several rays of light were torn out from the weapon, poking several blood holes in his body. Puff! Lu Dingxing took a few steps back. Although he had thick skin and flesh, he did not block the attack at this time. At present, such injuries were already injured for him. Fortunately, it was him. If it was Xuanhuan, the injury might be even more serious, because the opponent was completely sneak attacking and killing, which was a bit shameless. Didn't kill you, after one blow, he was exposed, and it was impossible to sneak attack again. He thought Lu Dingxing would die, but he was only injured and his face was a little pale, not to the point of dying in battle. The person who came was Xuanhuan, who was driven away by Baiyu before. The weapon in his hand was a white halberd, which was domineering and unparalleled. It was just such a weapon that almost pierced Lu Dingxing completely. I heard the dragon's call, so I rushed here. I didn't expect to meet you again. It seems that we are quite predestined. Last time, these two dragon servants were disrespectful to me, and I wanted to kill them. Letting you live for a few more months is also considered to be the most benevolent. Now that Baiyu is gone, do you two have any last words to say? Xuanhuan asked lightly. Zhang Ziyi checked Lu Dingxing's injuries. Although the opponent's attack was fierce, it was not a mountain route, so Lu Dingxing was still okay. After confirming this, Zhang Ziyi felt relieved. Of course, this did not stop the murderous intent in his heart. The sneak attack and killing was already the ultimate provocation. If it weren't for Lu Dingxing's good luck, he would have lost a brother now. This time, Xuanhuan had already bullied him to the point of no return, but he still acted like it was an honor for you to die in my hands. You sneak attack like this, and you still have the face to talk, Zhang Ziyi sneered. You didn't discipline the dragon servants well, and you have no face to speak. We will deal with them and then teach you a lesson. You have no ability to protect this girl at all. You are just delaying her future. I am afraid that you are fooling her because she is young and ignorant. Today, I need to take her away. Otherwise, staying with you will waste her precious growth time, Xuanhuan said coldly. When he said this, he was ready to attack again. The weapon in his hand was the glorious dragon halberd, which was a top-level divine totem weapon. With this divine weapon, he defeated many opponents. The glory dragon halberd was shining brightly and had a deadly light, which was a great threat to the enemy's eyes. Holding the divine weapon, Xuanhuan stared at Lu Dingxing. He basically ignored Zhang Zizai and rushed towards Lu Dingxing again. He used the shining dragon halberd to perform the battle tactics Light River Shining World art. This battle tactics gathered in the shining dragon halberd. Every time he chopped and swept, he could kill a river of light. The light was like a rolling river. Countless rivers of light shone through the world, covering them, reversing and entangled them, making Zhang Zizai feel like he was imprisoned in a cage. It was to kill Lu Dingxing, but in fact, it was to show his strength and directly attack the four people. "Girl, can you tell who is the one who can make you soar to prosper?" When he took action, Xuanhuan was very sincere. In response to him, it was Zhang Zizai's words. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 996. Maybe a few months ago, he was a little afraid, but now he is fearless. Especially the huge progress in the divine body, which is almost the same as a realm breakthrough, can greatly increase the combat effectiveness. After Zhang Zizai gave an order, Lu Dingxing and Xuanhuan, who had long seen that this guy was not used to it, followed Zhang Zizai and attacked almost at the same time. The three of them had fought together several times, and the opponents they encountered were getting stronger and stronger, and the older we get, the better the understanding becomes. If you dare to sneak attack, you have to pay the price. I have long disliked this grandson, and he almost killed Lu Dingxing in a sneak attack. This is unbearable. A few months later, it broke out directly. They broke out from three directions and took action directly. Oh, interesting. Xuanhuan didn't expect that they would have such courage. He smiled helplessly. While laughing, he opened his arms and said, "Let you, the frogs in the well of the God realm, see the dragon sacrifice God realm." The power of Totem. In an instant, with his body as the center, an endless sea of fire spread out in all directions. The flames of the sea of fire were completely white. When this white flame formed a huge area, it was enough to cover all of Zhang Zizai and the others. Trapped in the middle. The sea of fire in front of him can be very similar to the burning white flames, but it is not as intense as the burning white flames. Zhang Zizai was in the sea of fire and had no reaction at all, but he knew that others were trapped in the sea of white flames. It is quite troublesome, because this is not just a white flame, but also a sharp white light fused into the flame. The white light is like a fine needle, traveling through the sea of fire, and it is extremely hot. Such a flame the light oppresses and easily penetrates Zhang Zizai's defense. This is the world I control, the holy sea of light flames. In the holy sea of light flames, you have only one way to die. Xuanhuan is very confident in his holy sea dragon totem of light flame. He certainly believes that this is the huge difference between him and the talents of God's domain. In terms of resources, he feels that the two can never be compared. Once the holy sea of light flame came out, it put a very big restriction on Lu Dingxing and the others, and it could indeed have a very strong effect. However, Xuanhuan could not be happy for long, because at the moment when the holy sea of light flames was ruling the roost, a blood-red thick fog suddenly appeared and completely integrated into the holy sea of light flames. It actually made the color of the flames of his holy sea of light flames directly it turned blood red. And he was shocked to find that for some reason, the flames of his holy sea of light were burning on his body, and he himself felt suffocated. The touch of this flame made the blood in his body very uncomfortable. Seems to be burning along with it, and will probably burn out. The ancient blood prison. He is indeed well informed, and he quickly figured out that this is definitely the evolutionary source of the ancient blood prison. This is the evolutionary source that he knows can restrain totems in almost all fields. It is said that the ancient blood prison can integrate into all totems. In the field, it will cause backlash to the enemy, making it impossible for him to freely control his opponent in his own field, and he will even be suppressed even more than his opponent. You actually own the ancient blood prison. His sight penetrated the blood mist and flames and saw Longyan not far away. Now Longyan's eyes were blood red and bathed in the blood mist. When she slowly closed her eyes, the temperament suddenly changed, but became more fierce and terrifying. Where is that weak woman? Xuanhuan's mood immediately became irritable, and he said angrily, "You don't need to take action against me, I just prove to you." "Prove your father, shut up." Before he could finish his words, Zhang Zizai and the other three of them went straight to kill him. Among them, Lu Dingxing was at the front. He had always been so tough. No matter what the opponent's strength was, he would just pounce on him. He seemed rude, but in fact he was very strange, because the bloodshot eyes in his left eye were also twisting, and his magic power pupil of the netherworld directly impacted away. In Xuanhuan's eyes, he suddenly saw an illusion, that is, the left eye of Lu Dingxing. The eyes suddenly became extremely huge, horizontally in the air, releasing a large amount of green light, shrouding his body. Such huge eyes were so breathtaking that Xuanhuan wrinkled up immediately. Brow. He had good willpower and ignored the influence of the huge eyes, but in the next moment, Lu Dingxing's terrifying fists had already struck him. Chaos Demon Emperor Fist. Boom boom boom. Although his ancient divine source power was only the third level, the majestic power of his divine body came into play at this time. Xuanhuan blocked several punches in a row, and the shield on his body was almost broken. I don't know why Lu Dingxing's boxing skills had a strong shock. The effect made him feel dizzy for a while. Although each punch was blocked, there was actually a ripple that penetrated and shook his head. Go to hell, it was a shame and humiliation to be suppressed by a dragon servant at the third level of the ancient god realm. Xuanhuan's eyes were red, and when he was about to explode, Zhang Zizai rushed out from nowhere, and with one sword after another, the ghost came. Zhang Zizai is already at the third level of the ancient god realm. He should be the person Xuanhuan fears the most now, but once he focuses on Lu Dingxing, he is destined to be quite dangerous. The Phantom Soul Suppressing Sword Manual, the 100 Ghost Night Parade Formation, and the Infinite Time Breaking Blade were all erupted in one strike. The Infinite Time Breaking Blade was perfectly integrated into Zhang Zizai's soul suppression. Originally, Xuanhuan asked Lu Dingxing to Zhang Zizai was a little dizzy from the beating. At this moment, the knife came, and hundreds of ghosts bit him in an instant. In fact, only his soul was injured, but at this moment, he was already filled with fear. After being hit by Zhang Zizai, he had no chance. Xuanhuan's Xuanhuan soul-destroying sword art suddenly attacked, and countless dim yellow sword chi directly tore through all the shields on Xuanhuan's body. He had many ways to protect himself, but they were all torn apart by the Wangchuan sword. Even the resistance of the Guanzhou dragon halberd was directly cut off by Xuanhuan. Now Xuanhuan is simply the nemesis of the totem weapon. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. When he recovered from the Wuliang time breaking blade, all the weapons broke. Xuanhuan felt very disgusted. From the beginning to the end, he was controlled by the opponent and had no chance to fight back. At this time, all the weapons broke inexplicably. He was about to take out the next weapon, but at this moment, the figure flashed, and Zhang Zizai pierced through his chest with a sword. Puff! Behind him, the space force was torn apart, and a large piece of flesh and blood flew out directly. The terrifying 33-fold killing sword energy rushed into his body and directly blocked his internal organs. At this moment, Xuanhuan was defeated miserably and had no chance of turning the tables. He widened his eyes, and when Zhang Zizai drew out his long sword, he fell to the ground and twitched, foaming at the mouth. In fact, at this time, he still felt like he was in a dream. Although Zhang Zizai defeated him, he was not relaxed, because in fact, their battle was a bit loud. Now, many people were around, watching them join forces in shock and defeating the 6th level ancient god realm. Sorry, I'm not in good health recently. I'm always drowsy, have a slight cold, and feel dizzy. 2 chapters today, take a short break, and 2 more chapters to update. When the condition is a little better, the madman will try to update. In fact, I really want to get rid of the debt quickly, but writing a book is a brain-burning thing, and sometimes I have no strength. I will try my best. Anyway, I don't have much vacation during the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day. I will try to write more. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you again. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 997. Zhang Zizai and the other 3 have a better understanding of each other. From Lu Dingxin to Zhang Zizai, and then to Xuanhuan's pincer attack and sneak attack, it is almost perfect. Here Zhang Zizai can limit the opponent's performance, and he also has strong explosive power and finishing ability, which can be perfect. Although Lu Dingxin lacks the ability to kill, he is indeed very resistant to attack, and can absorb the opponent's attention. In addition, he has rich means. Although Xuanhuan suppresses him by 3 levels, it takes a lot of effort to hurt him. This time, Lingxuan's ancient blood prison limits Xuanhuan's light flame holy sea domain, so that the power of his domain even backfires on himself, otherwise it would not be so easy to defeat Xuanhuan. Poor Xuanhuan, he basically didn't make any moves, but Zhang Zizai's killing god Xianbing had penetrated him, and he directly lost the ability to move. Now he has fallen to the ground, and Zhang Zizai can take his life at any time. This guy is considered a top figure in the entire Light Dragon clan. At the age of 20, he had the strength of the 6th level of the ancient god realm. At least this level did not exist in the Yang tribe. Xiao Chang was only at the 3rd level of the ancient god realm at the age of 25, which was considered a talent in the Yang tribe. Because of this, Zhang Zizai and the others joined forces to take him down, which was unbelievable to the people watching around. After the battle, many talents appeared, and there were many strong people around. After Zhang Zizai defeated Xuanhuan, he looked at the other 3, and the 4 of them retreated together. First avoided, mainly because they were worried that Xuanhuan had friends and relatives nearby. Although he fell to the ground and groaned, he was still cursing, and looked like he could not accept the facts, but he could not get up and pose a threat to Zhang Zizai and them. Zhang Zizai's defense was not unreasonable. Just when they were on guard and walked back, a group of people appeared beside Xuanhuan. One of the tall young men took out some magic medicine, expelled the killing sword energy in Xuanhuan's body, and healed his wounds at the same time. Various magic medicines worked together. Xuanhuan's injuries have stabilized and he can get up. Brother Xian, this group of people attacked me, you have to help me vent my anger. Xuanhuan's eyes were red, staring at Zhang Zizai and said. The tall man was called Xian, and he was Xuanhuan's family brother. He was not very old, probably less than 30 years old, but it was obvious that he was already an ancient god of a very high realm. In the entire Guangming Dragon Tomb, he was probably a top-level strongman. In terms of divine aura, he was much stronger than Xuanhuan, and he was obviously colder and more mature than Xuanhuan. Except for Xian, the other men and women around were all friends of Xuanhuan. Their strength was not much different from his. They were all top talents in Guangming Dragon City, and most of them had top backgrounds in Guangming Dragon Society. Xuanhuan, whose parents were both god kings of Guangming Dragon Society, was the most outstanding. Some of them were god kings for generations, so their status was naturally worse. Because the lifespan of ancient gods was very long, especially when they reached the God-King realm, age sometimes did not represent seniority, such as Huazhongyuan's seniority was very high. In addition to Huaxian and his group, there are many people from other tribes and other people in the Bright Dragon City nearby. They witnessed Zhang Ziyi and his team defeating Huazhongyuan. They did not participate, but discussed it on the side. These three people were trained by the Dragon God King. Although they are from the God realm and their realm is a little lower, their other conditions should be really good. Just good. I think their realm is not very high. They can join forces to defeat Huazhongyuan. It means that their other conditions are quite good except for their realm. The realm is too low, which is the only flaw. Otherwise, with their current conditions, they can be considered excellent in the Bright Dragon clan. That can't be helped. After all, they are not from our sacrifice dragon god realm. The gap in realm cannot be made up. However, after decades or hundreds of years, the current realm gap may not be a big deal. What happened? I have some doubts about their stamina. Now they seem to have some strange means, but in the future, the endowment of the God realm will be exhausted, and their achievements may be limited. It should be fine for the God Lord, but it will be difficult to follow the path of the God King. After all, at this age, if the realm is still so low, it means that their endowment in the realm is indeed very ordinary, and they can't compare with Huazhongyuan. If Huazhongyuan hadn't underestimated their joint means this time, I'm afraid they wouldn't lose. Facing this kind of joint force, they can just defeat them one by one. Everyone has their own opinions on their performance. Most people are actually older and stronger than Huazhongyuan, so they are very sure of their own opinions. Compared with age and realm, they should be considered ordinary in the Bright Dragon tomb. There is a gap with the top. With their origins, unless they are descendants of the Dragon God King, their bloodline will definitely be a little worse. The leader may be the son of the Dragon God King. This is the first time that Zhang Ziyi has become a focal figure among them. What people are concerned about now is whether Huazhongyuan's friends, including Huaxian, will let Zhang Ziyi live. Anyway, the lives of the two dragon servants should not be saved. Just as they guessed, Huaxian stared at Zhang Ziyi and asked, "You guys attacked and injured my brother for no reason, you should be punished. You are so cruel, do you think you can do whatever you want just because Baimu appreciates you?" The sound of dragon roar is still continuing, and it is estimated that many people are still going there. He was just confusing right and wrong. He was the one who carried out the sneak attack, not us. We don't do such shameless things. I think it's embarrassing enough for us to lose, so why lie and embarrass ourselves? Zhang Ziyi laughed disdainfully. It seems that you think this is your place, a place where you are allowed to be arrogant and domineering. If you think so, you are totally wrong. Huaxian is not as nagging as Huazhongyuan. He is probably also anxious. Regarding the sound of the dragon's roar, I looked at each other and said to a few people around me, "Kill the two dragon attendants first. As for these two people, just cut off an arm each. Then kneel down and apologize to my brother. Then you can go." No problem. People from the gods' domain still dare to be so arrogant. If we don't treat them, they will be helpless. Brothers, you have done this to brother Xuanhuan. They barely paused and took action directly, giving Zhang Ziyi and the others another fatal crisis. It was too dangerous for Lu Dingxing and the others to act here in their current capacity. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 998. However, there were actually quite a lot of people watching. Zhang Ziyi glanced around and found that there were two people around who had been walking with Baimu before. They had been talking in low voices and left here soon. We'll be back. Sure enough, while Huaxian and the others were still talking, another group of people appeared, including Baimu and Baiyu. They must have been attracted by the sound of the dragon's roar, so they were nearby and came over quickly. Hua Zhonyuan was waiting for revenge, but when he saw Baimu and Baiyu again, his expression immediately fell. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Brother Xian, he urged Huaxian to strike first, but Huaxian shook his head and said, next time, there is nothing we can do this time. When Baimu and the others appeared, their intentions were more obvious. He approached with a smile on his face and said, you guys are really serious. Why have you offended others again? Why don't you quickly apologize to Brother Xian? Zhang Zizai understood and said to Huaxian, I'm so sorry. We promise not to beat him next time. This apology sounds like there is nothing wrong with it, but when the person involved, Hua Zhonyuan, heard it, he was even more ashamed and humiliated. Fart, how dare you say such a thing? If it weren't for your shameless methods, how could you have touched me at all? Hua Zhonyuan said angrily. If it weren't for the fact that he was still severely injured, he would have asked Zhang Zizai to come out and challenge him. After all, it is really embarrassing for people to think that they are inferior to this group of people. We are all our own people. Fighting and killing will hurt the harmony. Let's just treat it as if we don't know each other without fighting, Baimu said. This time he still protected Zhang Zizai and the others, which made people a little confused as to what his starting point was. Maybe it was because Zhang Zizai did have something he admired among them. Are these for your friends? Huaxian asked him. Of course it is, I chose them to enter the bright dragon tomb. After all, it is the dragon god king who brought the descendants of the god realm. We should have a way of hospitality, otherwise our friends in the god realm will feel that we are too angry. I really feel that they are really good. Otherwise, Hua Zhonyuan has the strength of the 6th level of the ancient god realm, so he will let them join forces to defeat him. He knew very well that when Zhang Zizai and the others were tested, they were not as strong as they are now, which meant that they had made progress in the bright dragon tomb. Yes, it's okay, Huaxian smiled coldly. He was just judging whether Baimu really wanted to keep them. Now that he had already said it, the answer was yes. He could also see that there was something special about Zhang Zizai and the others. The ability to fight across realms is very strong and rare. In addition, they do not belong to any force and have no foundation. Maintaining them now can be regarded as an investment. What if they achieve something in the future and are willing to work for you? Huaxian knew this very well, so he knew better than to touch Zhang Zizai and the others now. After all, Baimu is the one who can decide who can enter the bright dragon tomb. However, Hua Zhonyuan was not very willing. The impact of today's defeat on his face was too great, so when Huaxian was about to ignore the matter, he suddenly said loudly, Baimu, you mean, these 4 people, did you choose them all? Baimu took a look, his eyes briefly glanced at the extra Ling Xian, and then said, that's natural, what's the problem? You actually let mortals who have not become gods enter the tomb of the bright dragon? Doesn't your father, King Guanzhou, have any objections? You know, only those who have entered the tomb of the ancient gods have been allowed to enter the tomb of the bright dragon since ancient times. Why didn't I know that you allowed mortals to come in? Is there a mortal on the list? I mean, I suspect that this guy brought this woman in secretly. Baimu, you better take it seriously. Hua Zhonyuan is so confident that even Baimu is not afraid of him. Such a conversation made many people who were about to leave stay. They did find that Long Yan seemed a bit unfamiliar, as if they had never seen him before, and they had never heard of Baimu Xuan coming in, because mortals didn't know anything. He can become a god in time, so there is no way to determine whether the talent is outstanding. It is very random to select a mortal. For example, Some mortals are only a little over 10 years old when they reach the 9th level of the first god realm, but they may not break through the shackles and become gods until they are 30 years old. How does this define talent? It would be irresponsible to let mortals in. However, after Xuanhuan finished, everyone laughed and said, "Xuanhuan, your eyes are not very good. This girl is obviously not a mortal, at least the second level of the ancient god realm." Yes, Bai Mu glanced at it and nodded. In fact, he didn't expect that there would be a trap in Xuanhuan's words. When everyone thought there was nothing important, Xuanhuan suddenly took out an image talisman and threw it up. He suffered such humiliation today, and his mentality has long been distorted. If he does not retaliate now, he will have trouble sleeping and eating at all. You just have to see clearly whether he is a mortal or not. Sure enough, the image talisman recorded the process of Longyan overcoming the tribulation. The Jiji divine tribulation was very obvious. During the process of overcoming the tribulation, it was also very obvious that she transformed into an ancient blood prison dragon. The original process was restored by this image talisman, and even later a conversation between Xuanhuan and Zhang Zizai has been preserved. 9 extreme divine tribulation and 1 soul tribulation. This is divine potential. Just when the image talisman started, someone exclaimed, and everyone present, including Bai Mu, showed shocked expressions for a moment. Because even Bai Mu has no divine potential. Divine potential definitely represents the supreme among talents in the Guangming Dragon clan. But this is not the end of the story. After the divine potential, Longyan transformed into the ancient blood dragon, and the majestic and surging blood power was fully displayed. This is the basis for her to survive the 2 disasters. Supreme dragon blood. Soon someone exclaimed. They must be more knowledgeable than Xuanhuan. These 2 terrifying gifts are what the world desires. People never expected that these 2 extraordinary gifts would be concentrated on a person they have always ignored. This girl stood next to Zhang Zizai, and no one noticed her at first. The video symbol has been played, but everyone's mood cannot calm down for a long time. After letting her go, Xuanhuan said in a deep voice, "Bai Mu, I know you definitely didn't let this person in. When she came in, she was just a mortal. You didn't give the mortal the order of light. This person was brought in by someone from this divine realm. He brought people into the tomb of the Dragon of Light privately, which is a defilement of the ancestral relics and a challenge to the rules. He must bear the consequences. Now that the evidence is conclusive, the elders will naturally deal with him. You just need to be aware of this." Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 999. He directly stated that this person was not let in by Bai Mu, so that if the elders from outside would blame him, Bai Mu would not be punished. The one he mainly targeted was Zhang Zizai. "I used to long for Longyan to follow me wholeheartedly, but now it seems that it is basically impossible. If I don't get it, I might as well destroy it." That's what he thought, but he never expected that no one would listen to him at all. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Longyan, almost with expressions of disbelief. "Zhang Zizai, is this girl also from the divine realm and brought by the Dragon God King?" Bai Mu asked, a little stunned. He was standing next to Zhang Zizai and asked in a low voice. Only a group of them could hear it. "Clear." Zhang Zizai nodded. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow circled M. In fact, he has thought about it. Since Longyan has been exposed, there is nothing he can do. The person he trusts most in the Dragon God realm is the Dragon God King. In this case, it is better to throw the pot on him. As for when the time comes, he can just explain it to the Dragon God King later. If he wants to know about the evolutionary world, it doesn't hurt to tell him now. Anyway, he feels that he has almost understood the secrets of the evolutionary world. After Bai Mu confirmed it, a smile appeared on his face and he said, The combination of divine potential and supreme divine dragon bloodline is simply breathtaking. There seems to be no such two things in the records of our ancestors of the Bright Dragon clan. The situation of unity. And she was brought by the Dragon God King, and the guidance of the Minglong God King is really powerful. Yes, congratulations, girl. Baiyu smiled. It's really shocking that a talent like you can come out of the divine realm. But she was brought in secretly by this person. It's against the rules, Xuanhuan reminded. Idiot, do you think the process is important? For the elders, the divine potential and the supreme divine dragon bloodline are what are important. Baiyu couldn't help but shook his head and said, Xuanhuan, jealousy has made you a fool. Do you think that the elders will give up this kind of talent because of the so-called regulations? Xuanhuan was stunned. Don't be stupid, let's go. Huaxian slapped his head bitterly, maybe this would make him sober. Xuanhuan still stood there, but Huaxian grabbed his collar and forcibly dragged him away. As he walked, he was still reluctant. Baimu said in front of everyone, don't listen to this idiot. I gave this girl the bright order. When I went to the Yang tribe, Zhang Zizai recommended this girl to me. I knew at that time that she had the blood of the supreme dragon, so I allowed her to come in as an extra. My father also agreed, but I didn't expect that she actually had the potential to be a god, which was beyond my expectation. The skirts are dubious, but they know that whether this matter is true or not, since Baimu appreciates Zhang Zizai and the others, they will definitely make things right for him. When the time comes when King Guanzhou comes forward in person, no one will pursue it. After all, the details are no longer important. What is important is the divine potential and the bloodline of the supreme divine dragon. The sound of the dragon's roar over there was very urgent, and they were already very close here, so although Long Yan's talent was breathtaking, the irrelevant people left quickly. Baimu left a group of people, headed by Baimu, to ask Zhang Zizai about Long Yan's situation, such as his name, age, etc. As for how Long Yan came in, Baimu didn't ask any more questions. Order came in. Brother Bai, thank you very much. Zhang Zizai thanked him in a low voice. It doesn't matter, it's all a matter of course. You guys are so talented and deserve to grow up well. I'm just trying to contribute a little bit, Baimu said with a smile. Seeing Long Yan following Zhang Zizai obediently, he asked, is this your sister? Zhang Zizai shook his head and smiled. Do you look like a sister? Idiot, they are obviously a couple. Baiyu chuckled. Oh, I'm blind. But brother Zhang is really lucky to have such a good girl like Long Yan. Her talent is really hard not to be jealous of. In the future, we must cultivate her well. With her talent, the realm at this age should be close to the realm of a god, Baimuan said enviously. After becoming a god, she will naturally work hard. Zhang Zizai did not deny that this was actually necessary for her. Otherwise, with her talent, there would definitely be too many people harassing and pursuing her, such as Xuanhuan being one of them. And what she hates most is this kind of interruption. At this time, the dragon's roar over there became even more urgent. Come on, let's go and see what's going on over there. Baimu couldn't wait any longer, and after talking to everyone, he headed over there. Zhang Zizai was originally attracted by the sound of the dragon's roar, and after passing by after the setback, he followed Baimu and the others. We seem to owe him another favor, Xuanhuan said. Zhang Zizai nodded. However, his desire to win over us and make us loyal to him is too strong, and he does not treat us as friends, Xuanhuan said. I understand. Zhang Zizai nodded and said, but it's hard to return a favor. Fortunately, he has a good character and is not like Xuanhuan. Even if we are not loyal and are just friends, he probably won't do anything bad, Xuanhuan said. I hope so, Lu Dingxing said. Will I cause trouble for you? Long Yan asked Zhang Zizai softly. Stupid, you can cause trouble, that's why you are so charming, Zhang Zizai said with a smile. Longyan nodded, but she must be a little conflicted. In fact, she wanted to make herself stronger, but if this caused Zhang Zizai's death, she would definitely be worried. Huazhongai Yuan's image talisman seemed to have changed her fate invisibly. Although the elders did not show up now, her qualifications might have caused a sensation. What she feared most was leaving Zhang Zizai and letting another group of people cultivate her, just like when she went to the Eternal Night Star Sea. Don't worry, no matter what happens this time, no one can take you away from me. Zhang Zizai patted her waist gently as if he knew what she was thinking. With his promise, she felt much more stable. She suddenly felt very happy, perhaps because of the feeling of being mistaken for a couple. She didn't really want Zhang Zizai to like her or love her. She was not used to this. Although she was a woman, she just wanted to enjoy the feeling that if there was one, she could protect him. It had nothing to do with the body, only the soul. Maybe if there were no Juxian and Lingdang, she would think more, but she might doubt that she. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1000. Now, neither far nor close seems to be the greatest beauty in life. If you get closer, you may feel uncomfortable. So far, only Zhang Zizai and her sister have touched her a few times, and she will not reject them. If they say anything else, they will probably be disgusting. Everything in childhood can sometimes be a shadow that cannot be erased throughout life. And she is used to living in the shadows. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Looking up at him, he would know that she was looking at him. He turned back and smiled, like the brightest sunshine in the shadow, which made her suddenly feel a lot happier. But do you still remember the joy and despair when you suddenly saw him appear on the altar when you were in the most desperate time in the Star Prison? She knew that she would never forget it in her lifetime, even if it was so long ago. The sound of the dragon's roar in front was already very loud, which can be described as deafening. In the white light ahead, a dragon tomb could be vaguely seen. Although the surrounding ground was very flat, Zhang Zizai had already discovered this place, which seemed to be familiar. This is the tomb of the god of war king. We have been here before, and my battle tactics were obtained from the stone tablet behind the dragon tomb. Bai Mu was slightly excited. The sound of dragon roar came from the tomb of the god of war king. When they arrived in front of the dragon tomb, there were already a lot of people here due to a period of gathering. Zhang Zizai roughly estimated that at least 4/5 of all the disciples in the Guangming dragon tomb had already arrived, and the remaining 5 should be on the way. Okay, everyone is here. There are many powerful ancient gods under the age of 40. They may not be as talented as Bai Mu, but they are still strong enough to be feared. People were in small groups, but when Bai Mu and his party came slowly, people along the road basically got out of the way so that he could get to the best position. Now the dragon's roar is very loud and urgent. Something big should be happening. Everyone's faces are now filled with excitement. Most people here don't know about Longyan. They should all be discussing this kind of dragon tomb. And the sound of dragon roar. There is such a strange phenomenon in the dragon tomb. Is it obvious that the dragon tomb will be opened? With such a long history of the god of war king, does he want to carry out the inheritance of the god king? History has not recorded much about whether the god king of war left a legacy. Most of the god kings in the dragon tomb actually chose to be reincarnated. There are basically only corpses in the dragon tomb, but there are still some god kings who left a legacy, accounting for about 3/10 of the total. Yes, only 3 out of 10 dragon tombs have inheritance, but because they are too old, it is impossible to determine which ones have inheritance. Moreover, if the dragon tombs do not take the initiative to open, we cannot enter at all. According to the probability, the dragon tomb inheritance may be opened more than 10 times before it will appear once. It may not even appear dozens of times. The last one who received the inheritance of the God King is about to become the God King now. Now it seems that it is really possible to open the dragon tomb of the God of War King. I didn't expect that a figure like the God of War King, who is almost close to becoming a god, did not choose to be reincarnated, but chose to leave a legacy. It is really great. However, he was a figure so many years ago, and he is only now choose inheritance. This is almost the oldest inheritance of the God King. Yes, it is definitely the oldest in the entire Bright Dragon Tomb. The other God Kings are not that old at all. Maybe there is no really suitable person. You mean, it's probably possible this time. You forgot, who got the battle secret. Ah, Baimu is already rebellious enough. If he gets the inheritance of the God of War King who is close to becoming a god, it would be ridiculous. His father is already strong enough, and the Bright Dragon Lord is also his grandfather. If there is another God of War, he is not sure about the king's inheritance, but he hopes to surpass his father and reach the realm of gods. People found Baimu among the crowd and were extremely envious. In fact, Baimu is also doing the same thing. Mu, it is very possible that the God of War King will pass on this matter. This matter is too important. It means a lot to you. I know, but you can't guess too much, just wait and see what happens. Yes, if there really is an inheritance from the God King, and it is the inheritance from such a top God King, you should have the best chance. How far have you mastered your battle tactics now? Baiyu asked excitedly. We're close to completing the first level. It's probably almost done. Baimu was actually a little excited. He looked at the changes in the dragon tomb and felt the voice that sounded like a summons, and his heart was already surging. The inheritance of the dragon tomb was indeed his desire to come to the bright dragon tomb. The inheritance of the God King here could make them make great progress. An existence like the God of War King is the top among the bright dragon tombs. If he can have such a harvest, it will exceed his imagination. It's no wonder that he, who is usually calm, would be in a passionate mood at this time. There are no changes yet. You should try to complete the first level first. Once completed, you will definitely have the greatest confidence. If there are any changes, I will inform you. Baiyu said, her voice was a little nervous. It's okay. Baiyu calmed down his emotions. He could still keep his composure. While everyone was waiting, he sat down and began to practice the battle technique for forging the physical body. This is the War God King. The divine body technique practiced in the realm of ancient gods. Many people were looking at Baimu, because no matter how they looked at it, they all felt that the dragon roar was calling him to practice the battle tactics. As if in response, when he was practicing the battle tactics, a high-pitched dragon roar sounded, and the space of the dragon tomb in front of him suddenly twisted. People saw with their own eyes that a light channel extended from the depths of the dragon tomb and led to everyone's eyes. The channel was like a whirlpool, with constantly vibrating light ripples inside, and the light inside looked like rotating and flowing water. Obviously, this channel can lead to the dragon tomb. When you reach the dragon tomb, you may be able to receive the inheritance of the God of War. Even if people think that this is designed for Baimu, at this first moment, everyone rushed into the channel like crazy. This channel is actually very large. It is not a problem to accommodate more than 30 people on a horizontal plane. Zhang Zizai also saw this. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1001. Originally, all dragon tombs were out of reach, but now this passage has appeared, and people can see the way to the dragon tomb of the God of War. In history, there was a legend that the dragon tomb was opened, and the dragon God King left a legacy to his descendants, and everything we saw today is very similar to the legend. When the passage was opened, it was when the people present were most excited. There were many passages, and the light waves were rippling inside. For a time, a large number of ancient gods rushed into it and sank into the light waves. Although they generally knew that their chances might not be great, they still had to go up and try. As the saying goes, wealth and honor are sought in danger. The bright dragon tomb is also an adventure. With Zhang Zizai's current strength, he would definitely not be able to squeeze in, so he simply waited and watched. After all, even Bai Mu, who people thought had the most hope, was calm at this time, and was actually concentrating on practicing the battle tactics. After the crowd merged into the passage, changes immediately occurred. The change is that they should have encountered resistance in the passage. The light wave should have a force that rushed outward in the constant vibration. Most people blocked the outermost impact, but after about 10 breaths, some people were swept out and flew directly out of the passage, at least more than 10 miles away. It can be clearly seen that there are many strong people among them. The deeper they go, the slower they move. They should be under great suppression. It can be vaguely seen that their bodies are constantly trembling, which means that they are fighting against the power in the passage. "Can you keep calm?" Bai Yu asked. "No problem," Bai Mu nodded. His eyes are still calm. After all, the one who has walked the farthest now seems to have a long way to go to the dragon tomb. The friends around them are now entering the passage one after another to try their luck. After all, although Bai Mu has the most hope, it does not mean that others are not qualified to try. "I'll try it too. If I come out, I'll tell you the details." "You may be able to prepare," Bai Yu said. "Thank you, Sister Yu," Bai Mu said calmly. He was still immersed in the practice of battle tactics. In front of the tomb of the god of war, Wang Long, he had some other insights and was very confident in himself. "Zhang Zizai, you can try it too," Bai Yu smiled. "It seems that even if you are eliminated, you will not be hurt." "Sister Yu, I will try it in a while." Zhang Zizai nodded and smiled. He looked for a while, and he didn't know what the situation was in the passage for the time being. He must try it himself. There are still many people going in now, and it's not their turn for the time being, so Zhang Zizai is going to wait until the others have almost entered before going in. Judging from what he has seen so far, there may not be any advantage in going in first. The people at the front were blown out one after another. After being eliminated once, when they returned to the passage, they found that they could no longer enter. "Everyone only has one chance, so we might as well be prepared before going in." When the entrance of the passage was relatively empty, and the rest were dejected and eliminated people, Xuanhuan said, "I'll go in first. I don't have much hope. I'll tell you the details when I come out." After that, he mixed in with the crowd and went in. After entering the passage, he moved very fast, surpassing many beings with higher realms than him. This made Zhang Zizai understand that the vibration of the light waves in this passage is not necessarily a test of strength. Or, personal combat power is only part of it. Xuanhuan walked to a relatively deep position in it. Many people continued to go deeper, and many people walked very slowly, because it was easier to be swept out if they walked too fast. Xuanhuan was the kind of person who walked very fast. He walked quickly, attracting the attention of others, surpassing others all the way, and made a lot of headlines. It was not until he almost rushed to the front of everyone that the light wave vibrated and swept out, which finally made people feel relieved. That person is also from the god realm, right? How come each of these 4 people has something unique? Even the 9th level ancient god couldn't walk as fast as him. It's really okay, but unfortunately he was still swept out in the end. If he could keep calm and slow down, he might be able to hold on for a while longer. Xuanhuan came back from afar very quickly. He was a little excited and said, "It doesn't seem to be very difficult in fact." "What do you mean?" "I felt that there was no obstacle at the beginning. Those light waves seemed to be a kind of force, repelling outwards. I don't know why I could walk very fast, but the deeper I went, the stronger the obstacle was. I felt like I was standing on the boat and floating. In the end, I didn't stand firmly and flew out. You are just like nothing, Zhang Zizai laughed. That's right, haha, but I feel like this passage is actively selecting. Only those who meet the conditions can go deeper. Among them, I think the advantage of the divine body will be greater than the divine source and the divine soul. You and the panda actually have advantages. Divine body. Zhang Zizai was thoughtful. Boss, now, except for Bai Mu, most of the people around have already gone in. So Lu Dingxian can't wait any longer. Will you try? Zhang Zizai asked Long Yan. No. Try, Zhang Zizai said. Yes. At Zhang Zizai's request, she nodded. In fact, Zhang Zizai also wanted to change her a little, so that she would not have to be submissive all the time. No matter if there was a chance or not, she would have to take the initiative. So the three of them headed towards the passage together. Remember, walk slower, Sukyanyu reminded. Zhang Zizai knew it in his heart. The three of them almost walked into the passage side by side at the end. At the first moment, those radiant light waves enveloped his body, like ripples in the river, with a kind of the cool feeling, without any hindrance at all. Of course, this is only the outermost layer, and it will definitely not be easy to go deeper, so Zhang Zizai calmed down and the three of them moved forward steadily together. This feeling was a bit like diving into the deep sea. Maybe they were just on the surface of the water now, of course. There won't be any water pressure, but the deeper you go, at the deepest point of the ocean floor, you will definitely experience the greatest pressure. However, he moved forward steadily, and when he was about to catch up with the last group of people, Long Yan frowned slightly. I seem to feel some obstacles. Zhang Zizai and Lu Dingxian are not there yet, which proves that they are still relatively superior here. At this moment, Zhang Zizai felt some movement behind him. When he looked back, it turned out that Bai Mu had come in. He should be the last one to come in. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1002. He is now full of energy, and the blazing white light all over his body matches the light waves in this passage very well, almost blending into one. At first glance, he is the master of this passage. After entering, he moved forward very quickly. After all, he obviously didn't feel any pressure. All in all, regardless of whether he is in the divine source realm, or has a divine body that practices battle tactics, plus a divine soul that should be quite strong, whether in terms of talent or strength, he is the most outstanding among all the people in the Bright Dragon Tomb, and he can almost be the well-deserved number 1. He is worthy enough to get the best fortune in the Tomb of the Bright Dragon. Many people noticed that he had come in, and he went straight forward without any worries. In almost no time, he arrived at Zhang Zizai's side. Did you successfully practice the battle tactics? Zhang Zizai asked him. Yes, Bai Mu was in a good mood and smiled. Congratulations, Zhang Zizai said. Haha, you guys go slowly, I went to the front. It delayed some time and allowed too many people to pass. It can be seen that as the one currently lagging behind, he is still anxious. After successfully practicing the first level of the battle technique, he probably wanted to reach the front as quickly as possible. It seems that he is bound to win the inheritance of this war god king. After saying goodbye, Bai Mu sped up and disappeared before their eyes soon. Should we speed up? Long Yan asked. Because she may feel that if Bai Mu takes the lead, their hopes are not very high. It's okay, there's no need to worry. This passage is very long, and the furthest one is less than a third of it, so Zhang Zizai knows very well that the real confrontation is yet to come. He did regain his composure and continued to move forward. Although they were not fast, they kept passing some people who were struggling in place. Many of them were teenagers and more godlike boys and girls, and some were in their 30s. An existence that is not too high at many years old. They were a bit embarrassed to let people from God's domain overtake them, but it was impossible to catch them back. It looked like they were walking in a quagmire, and it was very difficult to move forward. In fact, not many people noticed their overtaking, because the people outside basically focused on Rao Beimu, who was constantly surpassing him. He was rushing towards the front position at an alarming speed. The people at the front were walking very slowly, almost unable to walk. If they hadn't been too slow, they might have been swept out long ago. As time passed, although Zhang Zizhe and the others were unhappy, they had gradually reached the middle position of the team. Long Yan had already felt the pressure and her walking was not so smooth. At this time, Zhang Zizhe and Lu Dingxing basically didn't feel any obstruction. The light waves dissipated when they hit them. Suddenly someone was looking at me. It turned out to be Guyeokan. She was at the 5th level of the ancient god realm. Zhang Zizhe and the others were overtaking her. Guyeokan was sweating profusely now, and it was difficult to move forward. She had to slow down, so in her opinion, Zhang Zizhe and the others were walking so fast, it was an unbelievable sight, and she was once I thought I had seen the wrong person. So it's you, why are you acting like a snail, haha. After Zhang Zizhe saw her, he circled around her a few times, stretched out his hand to pinch her face, and said, "Don't you want to chase me? I standing here now, can you touch me? Don't be arrogant." Guyeokan's face turned red with anger. She seemed to be stuck in a quagmire, but he was spinning around her easily. "Trash, come after me if you dare." Zhang Zizhe pinched her cheek again, and then ran away. This time it was quite hard, and the pain made her grin. She chased Zhang Zizhe in anger, but every 2 seconds she walked away he took one step and was immediately swept away. Deserved it? This guy is so domineering, Zhang Zizhe just wants to teach her a lesson. After she was swept out, they continued to move forward. Long Yan's feelings became more and more intense, and it was already difficult for her to be as relaxed and comfortable as Zhang Zizhe and the others. "You go first and be serious," Long Yan said. She walked forward slowly at her own pace, and there was no danger, so Lu Dingxing and Zhang Zizhe went forward first. This time they sped up a lot and passed many people easily. For example, Xuanhuan. He was gnashing his teeth in place, covered in cold sweat. If I hadn't fought with them, I would definitely have gone further. Now Xuanhuan's mind is full of revenge. Just as he was advancing in the quagmire and everyone around him was cautious, 2 people suddenly passed by him. "Isn't this the leader of the famous Xuanhuan? The son of the god king of the Bright Dragon Society," Zhang Zizhe teased. "You guys," Xuanhuan was so shocked when he saw their movements so neatly that he didn't react at all. "You think you are handsome, don't you? Let me see." Zhang Zizhe stretched out his hand and pinched his face, causing his skin to swell. The pain made Xuanhuan scream and angrily said, "You are looking for death." "Yes, it's a pity that you can't touch me." Zhang Zizhe laughed and slapped his face a few times. "Can you touch me at your fastest speed?" After that, he turned around and left. "Don't leave." Xuanhuan was furious and chased him out with a roar, but as soon as he made a big move, he was swept away. His position was actually at the front of the crowd, and there were not many people in front. Several people around have seen that Zhang Zizhe and Lu Dingxing are moving at the same speed as Bai Mu, and at this time, a large number of people are flying out directly and losing the opportunity. How did they do it? Just now they had just discussed Bai Mu's reverse speed, and suddenly saw the 2 people moving forward steadily. No matter who they are, they must be shocked. Moreover, half of the people have been eliminated now, and the number of eliminated people is increasing. If they are outside, they can see the current situation in the channel more clearly. They can obviously feel that it is quite easy for Zhang Zizhe and Lu Dingxing to reach this position. In the channel, Zhang Zizhe has already felt the existence of pressure. The light wave vibrates on his body, which will prevent the front school. However, they feel the obstacle at this position, which shows that they can go much farther than others. Now Zhang Zizai has surpassed two people who are still familiar with him, namely Bai Yu and Huaxian.